My name's Don. I'm a clothing designer and a brand owner called Lost and Found. I grew up south side of Chicago, south suburbs. Growing up, nobody was really into fashion like that. Nobody was making brands. Nobody was super big into clothes. I would say apart from the stuff that regular kids like Jordans and all that regular stuff growing up. But as a young kid, I wasn't really thinking about it at all. It wasn't really in my head either. I got a friend named Jalen, close friend of mine. I've known him for most of my life. We just used to do everything together, like no matter what we were doing, even as kids, like doing kid shit. But this had to be around like 2016, 2015-ish. We just got really into fashion and clothes. And we were just wearing clothes a lot. We just started getting into fashion a lot. So from there, we were just in his basement one day. We just said, we keep buying all these clothes and stuff. Why don't we just make our own? I would say that day is when it started. We both started on the same brand, but then I branched mine out and he started doing his own. But he's also a rapper now, so that I would say that's how it started. First item I made was a white t-shirt. I think I started designing that same night. We decided we were gonna start making clothes. I used to just do everything off my phone at that point. I was just using like editing apps on the phone. Then we used to like finesse this. It was an app, but it was a store that made like custom t-shirts and hoodie stuff. We used to finesse them with like discount codes and stuff like that to get stuff made. The beginning of my brand, I really started with like a lot of butterfly graphics and stuff like that. And that was really the whole theme for most of the brand. Since now, I kind of moved away from that, but the first thing I made was a white t-shirt with a blue butterfly, and it just had my brand's name at the bottom. It was simple, but I still wear it sometimes. It's in my closet right now. From there, I really didn't know what goes into that at that point of starting. I just wanted to make stuff and then wear it so people know I was making my own clothes, and it worked from there. But I didn't really know what went into at the time making a brand and establishing it. I didn't have an Instagram for it. I didn't have a website or anything like that. So at that point, I was just making it for myself and my friends. I would say it started in the summer. I think that was maybe 2018 summer. I think when I finally figured out that this was something that I actually had a passion for, that's when I started trying to curate it as an actual brand. Nobody taught me. The thing is with this is you just got to figure out a lot of stuff on your own. And I would say that was a lot of the journey, and it still is now. It's just because there's not really a guidebook for it. And even then in the fashion community, there's this thing of, pretentiousness and gatekeeping in a way where people don't want to always share where they're getting stuff made or how they get stuff made. So at the beginning, I didn't really know how to do anything like I do now. I was still designing off my phone, and it worked at the time, but I was just sticking to simple stuff like t-shirts and hoodies, just simple prints. So nobody really gives you the guidebook, but I think that's what I like most about it, because you keep learning, and I'm still learning now. When I was making the t-shirts and stuff, I don't think I've ever sold any of those. The first piece that was you would see it, that actually made me think all right, I have a brand. I used to make these hoodies in all different colors, but it used to be an upside down butterfly on the front, and I had all types of colors of those. And I think that was the item that first got people's attention. Those are one of the first items I sold on my actual website. But even before the website, I used to still get the hoodies made and everything, but I used to just do drop-offs. So I would get all the hoodies, all my packages, and I used to just drive around my neighborhood or drive around anybody that wanted one, because I didn't have a website at the time. And I used to only promote on Snapchat at the time. Now I would probably never do that again. Snapchat now is not that type of app. But then after that, I transitioned to setting up an actual brand page and setting up a website, and I've just been learning ever since. So the name Lost and Found, I've had it in my head. It goes back to that day where it was just me and my homie in his basement, and that was the first name I came up with. I feel like I had it in my head for a while, and I don't even know where from. But after I had the name, I created a meaning for it afterwards. Lost and Found, the meaning, if anybody did want to know, it's more it relates to like my personal life almost, how me and my friends came up and how we were feeling towards certain things. So we say lost and found because, you know, you could lose yourself sometimes. You might not really know which direction you want to go or how you want to tackle something. But then eventually, you know, you're going to find yourself and you don't know what to do. I was in college for 2 years and I was there for business. When I was there, I really felt like I didn't know. Even then, I feel like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And I knew I liked clothes at that point, but I didn't know how I wanted to tackle it because I'm like, okay, I'm already in college. It feels like what I'm supposed to be doing or what I have to do. Something just felt off while I was there. And then I spent some time with myself really thinking about what I wanted to do. And I was still making clothes by my second year, but it was like I didn't have enough time to pursue it how I wanted to. And I was like stressing out, and it was a lot of personal stuff I was going through too. But I decided to leave college that year. I came back home and I just told my parents like that what I wanted to do. And beforehand, I'm more of like a private person with most people. They never really knew that it was something I really wanted to pursue until I told them. I just kind of laid it out for them like, this is something I want to do. That was the first conversation we had about it. I would say now they're a lot more knowledgeable about it. They actually see some of the stuff that I'm doing and they know like what comes from it now. But it was a hard combo at first. Not because they weren't supportive of it, but it's just that gap in understanding about, especially now, when I first started the brand, there was no other brands like in your face like that. With all these apps now and internet, there's a lot of brands now. So I feel like if that's something you want to do, you should try it out. It definitely took me a while to, you know, hone in on how I wanted to do it my way. I went to the first college I applied to. I was going to a state university, but I just laid it out to them like, you know, I feel like I could do more for myself outside of it than staying in. And of course, like any parents looking in, they would want their kids to finish college or go through with it. But I feel like now it's been a few years since then, and I feel like they understand now. I would say biggest challenges are, the biggest one for me was actually how to source on actually getting certain pieces made. So there was nobody to actually tell me like, yo, if you want to get this made, you got to go here. Or if you want to look at these fabrics, you go here. Or if you want somebody to make this kind of piece for you, like this varsity jacket that I made, this is that I have on right now. I didn't know how to make any of that stuff starting out, and I would say through the years I've made connections with people and added people to my circle that that we can help each other out, and we could you know, give each other subtle guidance of how to find things. But for the most part, it was a lot of research that I had to do myself to figure out finding manufacturers, color theory, different types of printing, all that I had to figure out on myself. And I taught myself how to design as well. I would say I would consider 2 people on my team. They don't necessarily help hands-on with my stuff. I run everything on my brand usually myself, like designing, shipping, manufacturing, all that I do myself. So it does get hard sometimes. I would prefer it that way at the moment, but I would consider one of my 2 closest friends, Jalen and Ramon, I would consider them on my team. We talk every day. They all have their own creative fields as well. We just motivate each other through that. They're both rappers. I wouldn't even say rapper, I would say they're both artists. Proudest moment, I would say, it was one day I was out. I went to get food one day. I was by myself. There was this random guy in the food shop I was at, and he had on one of my hoodies that I released recently. And I didn't know who he was, but I was just like, damn, you know, like somebody's out here wearing my stuff. It felt good in the moment. I had to take a picture of it. He was wearing one of my old pieces. It was one of the butterfly hoodies at the time. So my process is usually on and off, but I'll design a whole collection. My process for that is I make all mock-ups first. So I'll be on my laptop on Photoshop. I'll be trying to get inspiration from wherever I got it from at the time. Really try to curate the theme for the collection. So I'll go on Photoshop, I'll pull up a lot of images or you know, graphics or things that fit the mood I'm going for. I'll design the full collection. It usually takes me a while to figure out all the pieces that I want. And after everything's finished, I'll usually start outsourcing for manufacturing to get everything made. I would say that's a hard thing for me because sometimes I feel like a over perfectionist and I always want to add or take away to a certain piece. But lately I've been trying to stop that and just, once I feel like it's finished, I'll just keep it that way. I won't try to nitpick it. Then I usually ask some people around me what they think of it as well. But mainly if I like it, I'll drop it regardless. I only like to make stuff that I would really wear myself. So it feels better when people buy my clothes for that fact as well. I've designed full collections before that nobody's ever seen, but that's usually because my direction changes a lot, especially themes I'm going for. I feel like this year is really where I honed on the exact direction I want to go with the brand, and how my design process now is probably my favorite. So I feel like now going forth, everything would be pretty much better. There's a lot that I don't release, but I like to have stuff made regardless, just in case maybe I would like to come back to it. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get dropped. Inspiration, I would say that comes from a lot of different places, from TV, movies, other artists, musical artists, things like that. I would say my inspiration is definitely on a come and go basis. When it's not there, I won't try to force anything because I don't want to make something that is half-assed or something that I will end up not liking in the future. I watch a lot of anime. I feel like that gets me in a creative headspace most times. Music too, or just other artists in general could give me inspiration at times. Like the collection now that I've released, it's all black and white, but that's kind of the mood I was feeling at the time. And I feel like if you've seen the full collection, you would see how that represents that. So what I'm wearing now, this is a varsity jacket that I dropped, and the hat as well. This full collection was heavily tribal inspired. I was in a headspace of messing with a lot of tribal art at the time. I just thought it was really cool, so I took my take on it. A lot of hearts as well, and I just mixed hearts and tribal together. I just built a whole collection like through that. I feel like in the beginning, as you see all these other brands that are in the space as well, it's kind of hard not to see trends, even if you enjoy some, and not try to take some of that with you. But I feel like now I want to like fully encapsulate my own type of vibe with the brand. So I feel like I stopped doing that, especially with clothing now. There's a lot of copycat brands out there that do a lot just to sell. My main focus isn't just to sell, but I actually do enjoy clothing. So I want to make something that lasts long and something that people actually will enjoy wearing for more than just a trend time period. My long-term goals now is just to continue to grow the brand, maybe some collabs in the future, pop-ups maybe. I do want to get a few more new collections under my belt as of this year. This starting collection is probably my favorite one that I've touched so far. So I just want to keep that same energy and go through and continue to build. But I would say I do want to travel to a few places, do some pop-ups, meet some more people in the space. So Chicago is kind of weird to me. I feel like Chicago has the opportunity, but I feel like it isn't on the same level as like let's say you're out in New York. The fashion scene is pretty big out there, or even LA. I was out in New York not too long ago, and I just like the community out there. I feel like they all show love, and I feel like they appreciate it a little bit more. But I feel like Chicago also has the potential to be on the same level as a place like New York creatively. I would say it is different at like this very point, but I feel like I would like to stay in Chicago because this is where I'm from, and I want to, create that space as well for other people. I would say just do it. You're definitely gonna get a lot of people who don't understand or even doubt or even want to hate on you because you want to do something for yourself or do something that maybe they wish they were doing as well. But I would say definitely just jump off the porch with it, do some research, figure out what lane you want to take while doing it, and then just tackle it. There's definitely a lot of speed bumps on the way, but I feel like that's part of the journey. It'll help you create something that's yours. So an average day, getting ready for a drop or not, I would say I would wake up. Mornings I usually ship orders. I do everything, all of that, like from my own space. I'll check how many orders I got for the day. I have all the stuff with me at my house. I pack up. I would go to the post office, and I just ship from there. depending on if I have some stuff to design or not, I would get on Photoshop, get on my laptop, I'll design a little bit, get ready for the next collection. But I do like to take breaks in between so I don't get burnt out from that creativity. I don't try to rush it. If I'm in a creative block, I usually ride it out. For whatever reason I'm in that, I think I probably need to be in there. So I definitely embrace it a little bit because I know it will come back. But I do like to do things that, you know, try to get my creativity back. So promotion is the least fun part. Like, let's say you're really into a deep creative like spurt, and then after you have everything done, it's time to promote. It's not as fun as actually creating, actually getting your clothes made, but there is some joy in it. I would say there's a lot of opportunity now. The internet is a crazy place, and I feel like there's no better time than ever to really go for something you want. A lot of these social media apps now, especially TikTok, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there. I feel like the algorithm really works. I feel like there's a lot of potential to grow there. Instagram as well. I like Instagram because even the fashion community on there, I feel like they're kind of inclusive sometimes. And I've met a lot of cool people on there. And I recently did a shoot with a friend of mine. That was the first professional shoot I've done. It was a fun experience. That was the first time I had a full detail collection finished from all different ranges of pieces. I really just wanted to get it good pictures taken of it that fit the vibe I was going for, and I think we accomplished that day. I would like to do some more in the future, maybe with some different models. I modeled that myself. I like to model as well, but I would definitely want some different people. If anybody has any questions about it, I'll share any information that I have. I don't really like the pretentiousness sometimes in this community. I'll feel free to share any information about starting a brand, curating it, where to find certain manufacturers, anything like that. I would say definitely hit me. Follow me on Instagram, Dontheplayboy. If you like the brand, like anything I have on, lostandfound.shy on Instagram as well. New collection out right now. We got a lot more coming.